All right, you guys. I'm going to walk you through MyFitnessPal. So MyFitnessPal is this app that's blue with a person jumping. It's Under Armour as well. So if you open your MyFitnessPal app, hopefully yesterday you downloaded it, got your account set up. I'm going to walk you through how to get our goals and your specific macrogram targets set. So this is what your home screen looks like. At the top, it says calories remaining, your goal, minus the food that you've eaten, plus your exercise equals how many calories left remaining. Now, let me tell you guys, we do not focus on calories. Like I said yesterday in the video, calories give us a gauge of where our macros need to be. Calories are made up of macronutrients. So essentially, if you're hitting your macro targets, you're pretty much hitting your calories. We do not focus on calories. There are some days you might go over. There are some days you might go under. That's okay. I don't want you to focus on this. Also, we do not enter in exercise. It's very hard to tell exactly how many calories you burn. Everybody is different. So this, where it says exercise with 0, that will always remain the same. That will always be the same. So leave it at 0. If you have your watch or your Fitbit connected to your MyFitnessPal, go ahead and disconnect that. We do not want that affecting your macro goals. So again, that is the top. Along the top says, and as you enter food, you're going to then increase that. I don't really ever pay attention to that. So again, I'm just going to walk you through each little step. So the first thing we need to do is you need to set your specific goals. Now, a lot of people ask me, do I need to pay for the premium? You can if you want. I have the premium solely so that I can talk to my clients that do have the premium. When I was in a round, I did not have the premium. The free version works just as well as the premium version. So there is no need to buy the premium version. So the first thing you need to know is you need to go down. You need to adjust your weight and your height. This is a baseline to set up your macronutrients. This is not to see, to put the focus on the weight, because again, we don't. You never change your weight, okay? Never change your weight. You're going to weigh once. You're going to enter in that weight, and then you need to be done with that. Do not adjust it, okay? So if we go down to at the bottom, you see where it says home, diary, plus sign, progress, more. I want you to hit more, and I want you to then go up to your goals, okay? So once you've set up your height and weight, you have your current weight. I believe I'm going to go back. I'm just going to see, is that in my profile? I'm trying to see where, it's in, sorry, you can add, and you add your weight in right there. Sorry. Okay, so let's go over to back to more, the 3 little dots that say more. I want you to push that. I want you to go to goals. Now, you have your current weight. I want you to enter in a goal weight. Now, I have not adjusted this at all since I started my round, except for changing my macros, which I'll show you what we're going to do. I'm getting ahead of myself. But I want you to set your activity level to active or lightly active. I then also want you to set your goals to lose 0.5 pounds per week or 1 pound per week. If you have more body fat to lose, you can choose to set your goal to a little bit more than 1 pound per week. But I want to talk to you all about that before you do that. So I'd like for everybody to start at 0.5 or 1. If you have significant weight to lose, then we can talk about upping that as well. This does not mean that you're going to only lose 1 pound per week. This does not mean you're only going to lose 0.5 pound per week. This is, again, just a gauge to set our macros. I cannot clarify that enough. You will probably lose more than this per week, okay? This is just to set your goals, okay? Activity level, We want to set it at active or lightly active. If you've not been working out, set it to lightly active. If you do not plan to work out, set it to lightly active. If you've been working out, I would set it to active. Now, again, this is going to set your macro goals pretty high, and it's probably going to be more food than you're used to eating. Now, remember, if it's too drastic of a calorie deficit, it can be detrimental to your hormones and your metabolism. So I understand it's going to seem like a lot of food, especially coming from your experience with dieting or restrictive food, but I want you to eat till you're 80% full while maintaining that macro balance. So if there's no way that you're like, I can't eat this much, I am stuffed, the goal is not to stuff you and make you feel sick, but we do want to keep the balance of 45% carbs, 30% fats, 25% protein, okay? So that balance is crucial even if you're not meeting your exact macro targets because it seems like too much food. You can also play with the activity level and change it to lightly active if you have a very sedentary job throughout the day. Or again, if you have more than 70 pounds to lose, set your goals to lose 1.5 or 2 pounds per week. Okay, so I am okay with us working through this. I want you to be comfortable with the amount of macro targets you have. But again, we should not be hungry. If you are hungry and you are thinking about food and you're miserable and it's terrible, then it's not working and this is not the program for you. Okay, we are not here to be restrictive. We are not here to be miserable. This is sustainable. But I understand we can absolutely work with working through your goals and your activity level. So just talk to me through that. Read the information in the portal, but this is where you change it. Okay, so once you've set that, I want you to go under nutrition goals. It says calorie, carbs, protein, and fat goals. Customize your default or daily goals. The free version has this button and the premium. So it's that first one. I want you to click there. Okay, this is what we need to change. You need where it says carbohydrates 50, protein 20, fat 30. We need to go, so click on carbohydrates. We need to scroll down and change that to 45. We need to change protein to 25 and fat needs to stay at 30. Click the check mark. You have to click the check mark in the blue. Click the check mark. And you look, and it has changed your goals to carbohydrates 45%, protein 25%, fat 30%. So my specific macro goals are 236 grams of carbs, which is 45%. My protein is 131 grams of protein, which is 25%. And then fat is 70 grams, which is 30%. So those are my daily goals. Now, when we get next week into carb cycling and low carb on Monday and Tuesday, these will be different, but you do not need to adjust your goals. You're just going to know what your goals switch to. There is no reason to move these throughout the week. Just leave them here, and I will walk you through how this will look different on Monday and Tuesdays. But for right now, let's just focus on this. So click the back arrow. Click the back arrow. Let's go back to home. So click the home button. Now, a way you can always get to where in a really important screen, which is what you're going to be screenshotting every night while you're tracking your food, where it says calories remaining at the top. I want you to push on that. Okay, this is your diary. This is where you will have added food. I want you to push on calories remaining again. And then that takes you to the nutrients tab. This is what I want screenshotted tonight for you to post. No food needs to be entered, but this is how I see your goals. So if you look, now I know there's a lot of stuff listed. I want you to focus on our 3 macros, which are proteins, carbs, and fat. Sugar we don't really pay attention to as long as we're getting that sugar from the natural resources, bananas, strawberries, things like that. I obviously don't want you getting in a ton of sugar from added sugars, like candy and things like that. But again, treat day, your sugar might be a little bit higher than normal, and that's okay. You do not need to pay attention to sugar, and don't worry about saturated fat, all of that stuff. Just focus on protein, carbs, and fats. So if you look, my protein, I've not entered anything today, so my totals are 0. My goal for the whole day is 131 grams of protein, 236 grams of carbs, and 70 grams of fat. As I enter in food, that is going to then increase. Obviously, if I have protein, I have chicken, say that's 26 grams. It's going to then say 26, and my goal is 31, and it'll tell me how much I have left for the day. So every day I'm trying to hit those targets. Now remember, low carb is a bit different. I will specify later. Do not get ahead of yourself. Just focus on this. Wednesday through Sunday, you are going to aim to hit those targets of protein, carbs, and fat. Okay? So that's the nutrients tab. If you click over on the macros tab, this is your pie chart. This is where that balance is going to be. Now this chart changes all throughout the day. If I entered in a banana right now, this entire chart would be blue because the bananas are all carbs. So don't panic and say, oh my gosh, I have 100% carbs. My chart is ruined for the day. No, it changes in with everything that you enter. So this chart, you do not need to look at this graph. You do not need to look at throughout the day, okay? But it does need to be balanced at 45% carbs, 25% protein, 30% fat by the end of the day. Those are our goals, okay? So this chart, again, this graph, don't worry about it until the end of the day when it should be balanced. Or if you've pre-entered and pre-planned, like I will some days pre-enter everything I'm eating the next day into MyFitnessPal to assure that I hit this balance. So let me show you also, again, the nutrients tab is what I want screenshotted tonight so I can see your specific goals. Okay, so I'm going to click the X at the top. Now, let's say we need to add food. So there's 2 ways to do this. You can go to, okay, here's breakfast. I'm going to add food, click on add food. So I have been logging for a while, so I clearly have a ton of food in here. At the beginning, you're going to need to build your library of food. Now, you're not just going to enter in eggs. I want you to use this scanner. See the barcode at the top? Click that and you're going to scan the barcode and it instantly pops in and you're done. It's so easy, you guys, okay? It's so easy to be able to do the bar scanner. So you're not just going to enter something and say chicken and then it has 1,000 things. So if I just typed in chicken right now, if I could spell it, it's going to pull up all the chicken that I have done, but it's also, look, this is every chicken that's ever been entered in. You're not going to just look at the variety. No, you're not going to just guess. So let's say that I'm going to enter in that I've had carrots. So I've had carrots recent, so I'm going to type in carrots. So it's going to pull up the carrots that I have entered in recently. I'm going to click that. Sometimes it'll pull up frequently paired food. So let's say I had a banana with my carrots. So I'm going to go down and click banana. Click check, and it's now added in carrots and banana as breakfast. So if I go up to the top and click calories remaining, I can see now that it is entered in. My chart is changing. I have got some carbs. Go over to macros, see, my whole chart is blue. That is no reason to panic and say, oh my gosh, I got the balance wrong. No, I've only entered in bananas and carrots. Absolutely, they're 92% carbs. Do not pay attention to this. Pay attention to the nutrients tab. I see that I now need 201 more grams of carbs, and I need a lot more protein, and I still haven't had any fat. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense to everybody. Click the X. I'm going to show you guys how to scan food in. So if you go to your diary, the diary is a great, that's your hub of how you add in your food. So let's say I am going to add in this gluten-free bread. So I'm going to go to add food. I'm going to click this barcode at the top. And then I'm going to take my food, scan it, and look, there it is. Let's say I had 2 slices. So I'm going to go up to number of servings and scroll down to 2. Click the check mark. There it is. Click the check mark at the top. And look, it added in food. You can always change serving sizes. So let's go up to the carrots. Click on the carrots. Let's say the serving size. Look, there's all these options. So always look at serving size, number of servings. I know this seems like a lot right now, but I promise it gets easier. Okay, so that's how you do that. You can also go to add food. If you click the little location drop, the pin drop next to the barcode, there is, they have restaurants, menus, for you to, like Texas Roadhouse or things like that. And you can actually search for restaurants in this where it says search for food as well. So you could type in, let me see, what's a good restaurant we all have? Let's do Chick-fil-A, right? Chick-fil-A, search. And look, it pulls up almost the whole menu. So let's go Chick-fil-A grilled nuggets. I'm going to click that. 8 nuggets. Let's say I only had 4. So I'm going to change the serving to that I had half of 8 nuggets. Check. And it says Chick-fil-A, 4 nuggets. This food's high in protein. So if I go up to calories remaining at the top, I'll see that I got a little protein. So the goal is to have your blue line all the way to the end. Go over to macros. My chart is changing. Remember, my chart always changes. I'm not worried about this chart till the end of the night. Okay, I could keep rambling. I know I'm probably going to confuse you if I keep talking about it more, but please, I promise this gets easier. Please make sure your goals are set up how you need them to be. Talk to me. If this seems like a lot of food, we can adjust your goals.